Hello, friends. Welcome, everybody. I'm King of Vita with Execute Your Intentions, and I have my friend, Professor MS Rao here,
Yeah,
PhD. Say hello to everybody.
thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you so much. We're so excited to have you here today. And we have been chatting online, and I'd like to go ahead and pop up some of those chats if we can. And
Yeah,
so, if we can get some of our comments, if we have any of our friends having some questions, because I really think that people are going to be excited to get to know you as they learn more about you today.
yeah,
So, I am thrilled because as I have learned more about you, you have such a fascinating past. And to me, the more I dug into it, I was just amazed. And I've been watching some of your videos, and they really bring me joy. So I want to start with kind of taking a look at, you know, just from a peripheral view here. Here we have this picture of you, and author of 53 books. You have been dubbed the father of soft leadership. You
yeah.
also have a blog on Thinkers 50, which is a really big deal for those of you that don't know what that is. We're going to talk about that later. 43 years of experience, published 300 research papers, columnist and entrepreneur. You were a soldier in the Air Force for a long time,
Yeah.
and you are dedicating your life to making impact, serving on editorial boards and peace activities, and founder of MSR Leadership Consultants. And you have a vision to build 1 million global leaders by 2030. And not only that, you've written with these 53 books. There were two that really stood out to me personally. One that was in 2019, Strategies to Build Women Leaders Globally. And that had the foreword was written by the Vice President of India. Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yes.
And then also, most recently, See the Light in You. Before we even got in touch, I
Oh,
had my own copy, and
oh, oh,
and I have so many things
oh,
underlined in here. It is such a beautiful book. So we're going to get into this in a little bit. So everybody, please, we're going to pop up the links to it later. You have to get a copy of it. It is just such a beautiful book. So we're going to get into that soon. What have I missed? What big highlights have I missed? Because I know there's more. I couldn't even fit it all on this. Is there more?
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
get we're going to get into it, right?
yeah.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you for your gracious introduction, and I'm happy that you purchased a copy of the book. It's truly amazing, and uh, we have been chatting for the recent times, and we both are LinkedIn addicts.
Yes, yes. You're definitely LinkedIn addicts. That is true. Yes, yes.
So
And YouTube too. You go for a walk every day.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm also watching you on YouTube, which is has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, true, true, true. So I have four blogs and three YouTube channels. So I keep acquiring knowledge and I share my knowledge. So I acquire knowledge and I share my knowledge. That's how I
Yeah,
do it. So it's
yeah,
and first of all, I thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And it's the universe that has connected you, me, and other colleagues for this
yeah,
platform. So we are grateful to universe for
yeah,
bringing you, me, and colleagues into
yeah.
this platform. So together we'll build a better world.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I want to start from the beginning,
Yeah.
all the way from your childhood. My brain works in chronological order. It just helps me kind of think through things. You start with a walk every day, and I just kind of started watching some of your walks that you take,
Yeah,
and you introduce to your watchers, you start sharing with everybody that you are starting because you believe in health first,
yeah,
and that you are recovering from some challenges, but you start out letting us know that you grew up in a toxic family.
yeah.
Would you mind sharing with us a little bit about your childhood and your background, and then how you got into becoming a soldier?
See, I was born in a toxic family and grew up in a toxic environment. My childhood was very challenging and chaos, and I couldn't enjoy my childhood. And for 18 years, I was at my home, and literally, I wanted to run away from the place where I was born. But I don't know why. Somehow I glued to my uh, parents, and for 18 years I had challenges. I could not pursue any hobbies or anything, and I was working in a tea stall where with my father, and sometimes I used to collect uh, cash from the counter. Then sometimes I used to prepare tea. Sometimes I used to clean the utensils in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the kind of environment I was born into, and added to that, I'm a late bloomer. That's one more challenge. Second thing is I'm a dyslexic. That's one more challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Third is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. That's third thing. Then again, I had a brain stroke in the year of 2021. So lots of challenges in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have two wheeler, I don't have four wheeler, I don't get any pension,
Yeah.
and then again, I have lots of challenges. I'm 61 years old,
Yeah.
and despite all the challenges, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix.
Yeah.
So there is some spark that was driving me to keep moving forward. Otherwise, I would have been dead during the COVID 2021. I survived because of my positivity. My blood group is B
Mm-hmm.
positive, and I'm very positive by nature.
Yeah.
So, because of this positivity and the power of subconscious mind,
Mm-hmm.
so I started. I was on the bed. Doctors thought that I won't survive, so I proved the critics wrong. I survived. Second thing, what they said was that I would be on the bed forever. Then I proved the critics wrong. That then again I bounced back and I started walking. So more than 3.5 years, I have challenges and I'm able to walk, but still I am not able to walk comfortably, and I can't type with my right hand, and I can't eat with my right. I can't type with my right hand, and I can't eat with my right hand. So lots of challenges. I have a chronic back pain for the last 17 years because of my continuous writing
Yeah.
and sitting with the laptop.
Yeah.
So these are all the challenges I encountered in my
Mm-hmm.
life. Then again, I served in the Indian Air Force for 12 years. Then my father-in-law invited me to join business, and after I joined the business, my father-in-law and brother-in-law they backstabbed and betrayed, and I landed in further financial challenges. Somehow I wanted to succeed as an entrepreneur, but I could not succeed. Then again, I became a faculty member in the year 2007, and I acquired six qualifications in the Indian Air Force, and all were through private education. And I discontinued my degree. Then again, I continued my degree. Then I acquired six qualifications from the Indian Air Force, like DME from Indian Air Force, and BSc means in science, then MA in masters in sociology, then labor laws I have done in the night college. Then I got my MBA. Uh, so like this, I traveled to different areas because I didn't have any coach, I didn't have any guide, and I didn't have any mentor. So I was Indian Air Force. Then I started reading and acquired lots of qualifications. And people might think that I acquired qualifications from Harvard or Cambridge, but the reality was that I discontinued my degree. Then again I continued my degree when I was serving in the Indian Air Force. Then I paid fee, then again continued my journey of learning. So right from my childhood to till date, I'm passionate about acquiring knowledge and sharing my knowledge.
Mhm.
This is briefly about that. Then again, I became a faculty member in the year 2007. Then I
Okay.
went for PhD in
Okay.
some skills, and then again I got my PhD in the year 2011. And 2010, I started writing books. Then I wrote 53 books. 53 books I published, but I have written 60.
Mhm.
53 I published, and 7 are yet to be completed.
Okay.
But because of the brain stroke and health challenges, so I'm not able to do the things. But
Mhm.
again, I just want to write a memoir, which is again a different area, where I would like to share my brain stroke, health challenges, betrayals, toxic family, through storytelling, my tenacity, all those things I want to mix and match and create my own
Yeah.
memoir, which is tentatively titled Survivor.
Yeah.
So this is my journey has come up to this level. So there are so many things, and if
Yeah.
you can ask a couple of questions, anything related to that.
Yes, that I mean, what a powerful story that, now you'll be able to talk about being a survivor, um,
Yeah,
having that, you know, going through all of these things and now surviving and that you're really able to kind of heal yourself,
yeah,
and that you were able to really guide yourself. I think many people um, had somebody that kind of led them, or they felt like they were able to find a mentor in some kind of way,
yeah.
or various people. And so, what was it that you feel like? What was that spark? What was it? How did you kind of manifest that? Or tell me a little bit more about um, how did you realize that you had that, and what kept you kind of going? When how did you start the research aspect of it? Um, you know, the leadership part of it. How did you realize that this was a leadership quality within yourself?
Yeah, thank you for this wonderful question. See, there is some spark that is hidden, so that is driving me to keep moving forward. And maybe that's a spiritual power, or maybe because of the power of my subconscious mind.
Mhm.
And I was close to death more than 10 times in my life, but I escaped death more than 10 times. And this was the last challenge, that is brain stroke in the year 2021. So I survived because of my positivity, and everything happens for a reason, and all that happens for good. And although I had lots of challenges, but the good news is that I survived. So I'm a survivor. That's one thing. Then again, what I did, I started writing books, and I wrote lots of books on different genre. I didn't stick to any particular genre. In the sense, I published books in on self-help. I started with self-help, that is personality development. Then I published books about teaching, training. Then again executive coaching. Then I published books on CEOs. I published books on leaders. Then I published a book on diversity. Then I published a book on mindfulness. Now I want to enter into a different genre, that is memoir. So like this, I never stick to any particular area or genre. Whatever came to me, I accepted, and I kept moving.
Mhm.
Because as I said, I don't have any guide. I don't have any coach, I don't have any mentor.
Right.
So that was the challenge, and I didn't
Hmm.
have any direction.
Right.
So that's why I was leading in that path. So I never stick to one particular area.
Hmm.
But I'm a self learner, and I learned of my own only. Most of the times I failed miserably, but again I picked up the threads. Then I kept moving,
Right.
and I'm very consistent in my contribution, and I'm very persistent. I never give up.
Right.
So these are
So,
all the aspects that have driven me. And two things I emphasized in my life: one is continuous learning. Second thing is feedback. I always take feedback. So
mhm,
these are all the two things that drives me, and that's how the things have come up to this level.
I love that. So persistency and, you just kind of guide yourself. And so, we hear this a lot around curiosity and I felt like that was kind of overused sometimes because um, I wasn't sure how do people really tap into that? But it sounds to me like it's being just your own guide, right?
Yeah,
And that's what you're just saying is whatever felt like was drawing you, whatever was pulling you towards something. So is that a law of attraction, and is that kind of how you felt?
yeah, the law
Or
of
feeling?
attraction. Yeah, you put it rightly. Yeah, your language is good. You are putting in the right. You are paraphrasing and putting into the right phrases. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Uh,
And so what drew you to the gender equity piece? That's something that like, yeah, you laugh because you know that that's a big topic for me. And
oh, really?
I
I
talk
don't know
about it a
that.
lot.
I don't know that you emphasize woman empowerment. Okay, let me share
Yeah.
this aspect. So, as I said, I don't stick to one particular genre. I
Hmm.
wrote books of different genre.
Hmm.
Then I always I don't I don't follow any particular conventional path. So I always do things differently. That's
Hmm.
my nature. Then I wrote a book on diversity. And why
Hmm.
I wrote this book? So let me share with that fact. And I have signed up for hashtag he for she.
Hmm.
Uh, then I published some articles, and they have been published, and even I published research papers also. Research papers I published.
Yeah.
Journals and magazines I published. Although I'm a male, but women usually they are highly focused. But
Hmm.
in my case, I advocate gender equality and I support women because I have signed up for hashtag he for she. That's one thing. Then I started writing about women.
Hmm.
Then I started writing because I blended leadership with women
Hmm.
because women are not properly respected. There is a ceiling, right? Whether it's India or US or across the world, there is a glass ceiling.
Yeah.
So women are not allowed to grow,
Right.
right? This is a challenge. So that so I encourage women to break their ceiling. That means they
I
have
love it.
to break the barriers and they should grow as women leaders.
Yes.
So then I wrote couple of chapters about women, then CEOs. Then I wrote a book. Then I approached my I for every book I approached the right that particular person. Then I approached the vice president of India.
Mhm.
Earlier, he was the vice president of India. Then I requested, I would appreciate if you could write a foreword for this gender equality.
Yeah.
Then he agreed, and then he wrote a foreword. So this is the story of gender. Then luckily, vice president of India has written a foreword. And then the great news is that this book titled Strategies to Build Women Leaders is the book I have
Yeah.
written. That book I have dedicated to Maya Angelou, Oprah
Melinda
Winfrey,
Gates, right?
Oprah Winfrey,
Uh-huh.
Maya Angelou,
Yeah.
uh, Rosa Parks. These three leaders I dedicated this book.
Uh-huh.
Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou,
Okay.
Oprah Winfrey. These three women leaders I have dedicated this book
Okay.
because they are all women leaders
Okay.
and I
Yes.
advocate gender equality.
Yes.
And vice president of he was the former he is the former vice president of India. Then he has written a foreword. Then I admire these three women leaders. They are Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou, and Oprah Winfrey. So then I
Right.
have dedicated. So then things fell into the place, and I published the book, and the book is doing good. And why the challenge with women is that they want to grow, but they are not able to grow due to some constraints,
Okay.
due to glass ceiling. And
Yep.
if you look at CEOs, I talked about a couple of CEOs, women leaders. They are not able to reach that top positions because they are this males. They are not men are not supporting women. I'm
Right.
sorry to say that, but this is the reality.
It is.
So these are all the things I mentioned. Then again, I said what the message from that book. What I told them is that a bird cannot fly with one wing. A bird can fly with two wings.
Yes.
That means both men and have to collaborate and work forward so that they can peace, prosperity, and happiness. That
Yeah.
is the message I have given from this book. Every book I share a message. So the message I share with this book, titled "Strategies to Build Women Leaders," is both men and women have to work together. They should collaborate, and so that we can build a better world.
Yes.
But
So,
what happens, but men usually they don't suffer because of their male ego or whatever it is.
mhm.
So I think the good news is that we are doing better and the women are getting recognized, and hopefully we'll achieve equality globally, but not now. It takes a few more years.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
We definitely have some work to do.
yeah.
Well, I mean, but this kind of work and help that you're doing, so appreciated because that recognition, we need that, and it's wonderful to know that there's people like you that are helping us. So, very much appreciate that
Thank
and
you.
getting the word out there. Yeah, we love that. So then you suffered from your brain stroke,
Yeah.
and when did you realize that you were dyslexic and had ADHD, and when did that start to really impact you, or were you always aware?
No, no, I didn't know these things at all.
Okay.
And because I'm a late bloomer, I bloomed very slow because my maturity levels are very low. That's why I tell to even the host also. I speak very slow because of my Indian accent. That's one thing. Second thing is I speak very slow.
Mhm.
I'm a late bloomer. So dyslexia is again one more challenge. So all these things I gradually realized because I'm a late bloomer and gradually I blossomed, and I realized later that this was the position. But nobody knew all these things
Yeah.
because I'm a researcher. I read a lot. I read a lot and I write a lot. Then I'm very curious and creative. So all these things helped me to research and find out why the things were happening. So that's how I have. It's all my self learning and self reflection. As I said, I don't have any guide. I don't have any coach. I don't have mentor, and nobody's there to support.
Yeah.
So it's all my self reflection, and I learned by trial and error method.
Mhm.
And if it worked, fine. If it didn't work out, then again I'll redo the things. That means I will do again, so that I keep doing, because I'm basically persistent by nature. I never give up. So because of these things, I'm able to move on. And whether it's a physical challenges, whether it's a mental challenges or physical challenges, whatever it is, I persist a lot. Then, and I keep moving. So
I think though that this whole idea of not having a mentor and having to learn ourselves is something that a lot of the future generations have to learn as well because their lives are different. You know, I'm a Gen X and you know, I had the benefit of having two loving parents. And
yeah,
so I did have somebody guiding me and giving me opportunities. But I think that there are generations where they might feel more isolated. And so they might not have somebody to go and guide them or to offer them help. And in the business world, I definitely didn't have a mentor in certain areas. And so I think that there is a lack of belonging. And
yeah,
so, you know, we can get into the whole concept of social media
yeah,
and how, and I know we've, you know, talked a little bit about competition and just how do we kind of look at the isolation that people might feel in and how do we adjust and adapt and we want to use social media as a means to actually connect and
yeah,
you know it could be divisive or it could be something beautiful and great,
yeah, 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 yeah.
right?
Social media is a double-edged sword. It's
Yes,
for good, it's for bad. You have to take only the good, not the bad, right? And
right,
you can't throw the social media, because we are connected because of social media.
right,
We are connected because of the technology,
right,
right? So we need technology for social good and to build a better world, right? We should not use because we don't want any bad actors to uh, play any havoc, and we don't want any other people who will disturb, who will destroy the situation. So especially this AI, artificial intelligence, which is doing good. There are so many advantages from artificial intelligence, but again we have to be very much careful about artificial intelligence and technology. We need to use technology for social good,
hmm,
and we can improve the quality of lives. So there are so many advantages, but
hmm,
we must ensure that the good actors are there, so that we can get the results. But if bad actors come into the picture, then they will ruin everything, they will destroy everything. So we have to focus on good actors for
yeah,
social good, so that it's beneficial for humankind. So
yeah.
we have to take only the good things, and we have to be very much careful with the bad things, right?
So how can we identify bad actors? What would be your advice for people? Do you
Yeah.
have advice for people to identify those bad actors? What kind of things do you help us? I know there's some things that you mention in this book, you
Oh,
know, that help
I
us.
mentioned about social media. Yeah, I recall
Yeah,
it. Good,
you
thank
do.
you.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
I mentioned about
that.
social media. See, we have to find out good people,
Hmm.
great people. And if when we talk about individuals, there are three things we have to make note of. One is facial animation, body animation, and vocal animation. Vocal means how we speak, vocal cords.
Vocal.
Facial animation means by face.
Hmm.
Vocal. Then body animation.
Hmm.
So if they are synchronized, that means it's good.
Hmm.
If there is a mismatch between animation and vocal animation and facial animation, that means something is wrong, something is fishy,
Hmm.
right? That's how I do the things. That's one thing. Then secondly, we can go for a second verification, a background verification. Especially we have misinformation, disinformation. It's very problematic. It's very difficult to find out who are the genuine, who are fake. So lots of challenges. So it's a very big challenge, for individuals, for the world.
Yeah.
So we have to verify the information and we have to confirm. So
Right.
in this regard, I would like to share with you about Socrates' three filter test.
Okay.
Let me talk about because I admire Socrates, and I am very much connected with the philosophy of Socrates.
Yeah, sure.
So, what the philosopher Socrates was a very great philosopher, and he's the father of philosophy, right?
Mhm.
That is Socrates. Then
Socrates.
what
Yep.
he told, Socrates. Then people once a person approached Socrates. Socrates, I heard something, uh, in some information. That's what that guy approached the philosopher. Philosopher means Socrates now. Then philosopher, that means Socrates asked that guy, so what you are telling, first we will check whether it's correct or not. First filter, that means he filtered the what you are telling, is it correct or not. That's the first filter. The
Okay.
second thing, he told, the second step you have to do is that whether it is how you got this information, is it your own information or you heard from here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, no, I heard from other sources, not from the main source.
Uh,
Second thing. Then the third thing, what he told, that is the information useful or not.
right.
Then he said it's not useful. See, that means three steps. First thing, it's genuine or not, it's authentic or not, you have to find out. So if you feel that the information is not authentic, just remove.
Right.
Second thing, uh, check the sources, how you are getting, it's correct or not. Two,
Right.
if it is not good, just remove. Then third thing, this information is useful or not.
Yeah.
If it is not useful, just remove it. This is known as three filter test. Socrates three filter test. It's very wonderful, and I shared with my students in various classrooms and everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you one thing. Your life is in your hands, right? It all depends on how you take it,
Yeah.
right? So we have to check
Mm-hmm.
body animation, facial animation, and vocal animation. If there is synchronized, correct. The second, you have to see, you have to follow this three filter test, which was created by Socrates, who is known as the father of philosophy,
Yeah.
right? So these things help us to understand what is the correct information, whether it's a fake information or genuine information. Then again we can go for a second background information. Then we have to verify, cross verify, then we have to come to a conclusion. So that's how we have to identify, this is how we have to come to a conclusion. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good, useful, genuine, sounds good. Yeah, good, good. You're noting down or what? I have seen some something. You're doing some
I'm back.
magic. Huh?
I'm
I
back.
thought yeah, no, no, you're doing some magic.
I wish it was magic. No, I just it's chatting.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I love that kind of filter test, right? To
uh,
even see whether it's information that we're really wanting to
yeah,
have in our lives.
yeah.
So yeah. Um that threw me off too. I was like, I might be jumping the leaving you, but you're doing great. So you could totally run the
I
show.
don't know. Actually, I'm a storyteller. I love
Yeah, you
stories.
are. You
Yeah, I'm a
are.
storyteller, and
I love it.
I connect the dots very quickly. Why? Because I have a diversified experience. I served in the military, then I was a professor, then I was an entrepreneur. Now I'm a philosopher. So many things I am doing,
Yeah.
right? So I connect the dots, and I'm 61 years old. So I observe the things and integrate everything. So that helps me a lot.
Yeah, it does. And you meet people daily. I noticed that when you go for walks, that you just interact with the public and you just
Yeah, yeah,
like
correct. Yeah, correct.
Strike up a conversation with whoever you meet, and I'm very much the
I'm
same.
very
I think
sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm very open to learning. I'm very curious. I'm very open to learn the things. Even you too, you are gifted with this quality. You are also very open, right?
I
That,
like to talk to
yeah,
people.
that openness is essential. That leads to curiosity, right? When you are open, then what happens? You will be curious,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
when you have to open your mind, so I'm very open. So most of the times I talk to unknown people also,
Hmm.
right? Most of the time, if even if I don't know also, even if I don't know them, still I'll go and talk to them.
Yeah,
Most of the times they like, but a few people might dislike.
yeah,
That we can't help. Okay,
yeah,
that's whatever is that we have to take the best, and
yeah,
rest you have to put it out.
yeah,
You can just leave it aside. You have to discard unwanted things, right?
yeah.
So this is how I lead in my life.
Yeah, it's fun when
Yeah.
when you know, just kind of mingling in the public. And I think that something that I always enjoyed about working in a team environment too, and I talk about this a lot, is finding what is interesting or unique about somebody, finding what it is that makes somebody, what's their hidden talent,
Yeah.
because everybody has something. I mean, we
Yeah.
all know that they do,
Yeah.
and they all
Correct.
have
Correct.
something that
Correct.
they're passionate about, that they're,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I get excited, I can't even breathe.
Yeah.
But they all have something that they kind of have been holding back, or that someone hasn't made them feel really great about. And so usually if you ask enough questions, you can tap into that, and it's
Yeah.
fun when you
Yeah.
can do and spark that for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Truly, yeah, I agree with you.
mhm. So I want to talk a little bit about your 2030 vision, because we haven't even touched on that. That's such a huge part of who you are, or
Yeah.
not who you are, but to me, that's a really big deal. So, would you mind telling us, and let's get those comments or the chats up, because I just feel like that's such a huge part, and I think that it'd be great for us to share that with our audience.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, let me share with you about my vision. See, whenever there is a gap, I close the gap. In the sense, whenever there is a challenge, I'll find out the root of the problem, then I will resolve the problem. That's by nature. That's what I do. So when I was teaching in the educational institutions, I felt that there was some gap, because I didn't have coach, I didn't have mentor, I don't have any guide. Everything I was learning my own experiences and failing mostly, because there was a lack of support, and there was no one to support me. Then what I did was I started Vision 2030 1 million global leaders, because I belong to Gen X, right? Then we have next generation, that's Y and Z. Y means millennials and centennials, right? So now I am already a Gen X, and there are serial to me. They are known as baby boomers. Baby boomers, Gen X, Y, Z. So different generations we are having.
Right.
So I'm sandwiched between millennials, and then again baby boomers. Then
Hmm.
I thought already I'm reaching some stage. So let me do one thing. Let me build students as global leaders. So that was the reason. And then I started Vision 2030 1 million global leaders. And then I created, then I started sharing my knowledge on 4 blogs. And also I conducted training programs, and I groomed more than 50,000 students as global leaders, uh, which is non-profit, not profit,
Yeah.
non-profit.
Yeah. Just helping people.
So that's what I was doing. So more than 50,000 I have trained, and because I'm passionate about learning the things.
Hmm.
Then what happened? I After the COVID, things have changed. The education system has been changed. Not
Yeah.
only India, all over the world. Now things have gone online education. Second thing is that there is a total disruption in all sectors,
Hmm.
and AI, everything has been changed.
Right.
Uh, so that's okay. But beyond that, then what happened? I had a brain stroke and I collapsed. Some
Yep.
2021. So for 1 year I was on the. I couldn't do well, and I was not able to understand the things. So still, I was repeating the same mistakes. I
Yep.
was repeating the same thing again and again after the brain stroke. But then I survived. So this COVID-19, that means, was a dampener, and my vision was disturbed because of my brain stroke some 3.5 years ago, right? So, but even then, I started sharing my knowledge, whatever is possible. So, because see, you see, too many tiny drops will become a mighty ocean, right? So we have to do whatever is possible, little bit. We have to do it. So that's what I am doing, and this is not an excuse, right? Because we have to be part of the solution, not the problem, right?
Right.
So we have to add value and impact. So I love my students. Then I started Vision 2030, 1 million global leaders, and I published a book also titled Vision 2030, 1 million global leaders. For that book, uh, Dr. Kiran Bedi, the first woman IPS officer, has written a foreword from India, and she's a nice woman and a very courageous woman. I admire her, and she also invited me to deliver a lecture, and I delivered. That was a different thing. And then that I published a book, Vision 2030, 1 million global leaders. That book I have dedicated to former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I admire him a lot. So like that, all these things I have done it. Then I'm passionate about education and learning,
Yeah.
and I want to encourage youth, because youth are the future, right?
Yep.
So we have to encourage youth, because my time on this planet is limited. Of course, everybody's
Right.
life, everyone has a stipulated lifespan. So my lifetime, my life on the planet is limited. So I want to do whatever is possible. Then I started Vision 2030. So far things went on, but now things were disrupted because of technology, and because in view of my brain stroke. So
Hmm.
this is the story of Vision 2030. But I am still optimistic that I will recover from my health challenges. Then I will share my knowledge through
Hmm.
various platforms.
Yes. Yes. And so it all really still comes down to a life, a meaningful life,
Yeah,
which what it always has been, and making impact. And when we talk about education, right, we can start with ourselves,
yeah.
but ultimately we do care about the youth, right, and being able to make that trickle impact, and being part of that ocean. So that's how we make waves and make bigger impacts. So I love that. And so you have a lot of the leadership and development, the global ripple kind of
Yeah,
resonating, you
yeah,
know. Um, and so you have the book Survivor that you have coming
yeah.
out potentially. That's the next project. What else do you have on the horizon? What are some of the you're working on your recovery, and what are the big things that are on your mind?
So there is a to-do list, a bucket list. I don't know what you call bucket list. I think so many things I wanted to do.
Hmm.
Things were disrupted because of the health and brain stroke. Not the health, brain stroke.
Hmm.
But still, I have written 60 books actually. But I published only 53. Still, 7 books are pending, and I have to edit and update the books. And publishers are coming forward to publish my books, but my health is not permitting, because I can't type with my right hand, and I can't eat with my right hand. So
Hmm.
once I recover from health challenges, and then I will complete my pending projects. That the 7 books are still have to be updated and published. And then again, for the last 3.5 to 4 years, then the world has changed so fast.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the world, how fast it is changing. It's very difficult to tell where it will go to the next level that nobody can predict.
Yeah.
So I have to update my books, and I have to upgrade myself. Then I have to update the books because there are some facts and figures that have to be changed, then updated. Then I have to publish my pending 7 books. Apart from that, already I have kept some triggers of the book, tentatively titled Survivor. That lots of ideas are there. I am flooded with lots of ideas, so I will complete that project of Survivor.
Mhm.
So this is my life. The Survivor is a book which is a memoir. I think I will definitely write and publish this book. So only thing, my health has to cooperate. So once that is done, then definitely I'll publish my pending books, and also I'll publish a memoir.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have any of these changes that have happened? Were any of them a surprise for you, or is there anything that you're looking at that you're kind of wondering? "Oh, I'm not sure how we're going to handle this," or do they all feel like, yeah, I can kind of see how we got here? Is there anything that you're that seems a little tricky to navigate?
Could you repeat the question if you don't mind?
Um,
Yeah.
the things that you need to update in these books. Does is there anything that seems a little tricky to navigate? The updates that need to be made, or do they all seem kind of, yeah, yeah, I expected that kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah. I got your question. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for paraphrasing, and thank you for empathizing with me. Yeah, there are some areas I have to update. Then I have to publish the books. I can't specifically talks about. I can't specifically talk about 7 books which are pending. So I wanted to write a book on self-aware. That means I want to update various aspects of the book which I'm trying to publish, that where I want to talk about nutrition, food, modeling. These are all very tricky areas, so which
Hmm.
are very challenging for me
Hmm.
uh, to navigate. But I have to do again further research. Every book is different. I research each book thoroughly, and I proofread. Maybe more than 10 times I read my own books, then I'll go for publishing the books. That's how I do it. So
Wow.
that's how I am doing that tricky. Yeah, this there are some challenges. Every book has got its own
Yeah.
challenges, but
Yeah.
this book, self aware and self health, that's what I'm thinking,
Hmm.
that I have to update, and I have to see that, and I'll publish that book. So like that, 7 books are pending.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And do you have any call to action? Is there any way, is there any kind of thing that you would like support on? Do you have anything that you would like, the audience that is here listening? We have quite an engaged group of people commenting, so we're going to check in and see if we have any questions. But before we do, is there anything that you would like to ask people? To support you in any way? Is there any, do you have any asks?
So there are lots of ideas and insights. Uh, I see. For example, there's a book titled "See the Light in You," for which I give a message that health first, education second, and wealth third. Yeah, this is the book. Thank you. Thank you for purchasing the copy. So every book has got a message. This is the book. And second book, that is strategies to build for women leaders, right?
Mhm.
That I have dedicated to Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou, and Oprah Winfrey. So that book, again, I have given a different message. for that book, strategies for building a women leaders, what the message I would like to share to the world, especially for women, is that a bird cannot fly in one wing. A bird can fly with only two wings. Then only the bird can fly. So we must encourage both men and women to collaborate and work forward, right? So when both men and women collaborate and work forward, what happens? We'll unlock our potential. Now what happens? We are unable to unlock the potential of women globally. I'm not talking about any country, I'm talking as a rule and from the global perspective. So 50% of the women, let us suppose 50% men, let us suppose, and 50% are women. So 50% of the women also, if they unlock their potential, what happens? We can build an excellent and beautiful world.
Agree.
That's the message for that book. So that's why, every book has got its own uniqueness. Every book has got a message. So these two books I have given a message. Then again, one more book. Okay, third book. Let me talk. That Vision 2030, 1 million global leaders. That's the book. In that book, I give a message. Is uh, cultivate an attitude, in the sense, cultivate a strong attitude, right attitude, and positive attitude, because it is the attitude that determines the altitude. So you should have a very positive attitude. When you have a positive attitude, uh, you can succeed in this world, right? And there was a research that suggested that uh, why people fail means, then the research showed very clearly that it's a lack of attitude. So when you have a positive attitude, you can achieve anything and everything in this world, right? So like that, every book has got its own message. That's what I do it. Yeah.
Well, I feel like you gave me the perfect segue to let everyone know that I just co authored a book that was released yesterday called Winning with Love. Um, so I appreciate that so much. So it's with Willie J. It's also available on Amazon. So I hope that people go. It's actually a free download. So it will be free downloadable until Tuesday. So I hope that everybody does that as well. And I'm going to check in on the comments. And Kelly is our producer for the day. Thank you so much, Kelly. Do we have any questions? Do we have anything pop up?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, they can ask me. I'll
Yeah,
respond.
thank you so much. You've
Yeah,
been
thank
such an amazing guest for us. No questions have
you.
come up. Okay.
Okay.
Well, so with that, we'll, I guess,
Let me share something. Okay,
yes.
that box, you just close the box. Okay, I'm not
Okay.
able. Okay, no, you have, I think you were born in Hungary. I think, if I'm not
Yes,
correct.
Hungarian. Mhm.
Yeah, so I appreciate your courage, and I appreciate your adaptability, because you are from a different country and you adapted, and I think now you are in
My
USA, right?
my parents.
So I appreciate your courage, and I appreciate your adaptability, and I appreciate your curiosity and learning. So I am grateful to you. And these are all the observations I have noticed. And more than that, you are very kind and compassionate, and I am grateful to you for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much. Yes, I personally was born in Vermont, in small state in New England. My parents were both born in Hungary, but I am a first generation born in America.
Yeah,
So yes, but I felt like I had a very culturally diverse background
yeah,
because I was yeah, so I grew up there, and then I went to school in the South, and so I've been all over the place. And I think I had a conversation about that yesterday with some people, because then I went into an engineering school where I was in a just a male dominated area and corporate, and so I kind of had a hippie upbringing, and
Yeah, oh,
then I
yeah,
went into engineering. So I've also had a lot of varied experiences, but I love being around people, and I think that it just makes the world a lot more fun.
yeah,
so so yeah, I was actually in an audio room yesterday on LinkedIn,
yeah,
and I was talking about how I was raised trying a lot of different food, and I had to appreciate it, because when my friends would kind of not want to try things, I just would look around going, "You're missing out. There's so many great things that I get to
yeah, yeah.
have that you're missing out on." And so I appreciate that my parents taught me that options and trying things, just created more opportunities. And so I think that when we get to carry that with us, it's a good thing.
And one more thing is that I read your article on Forbes. Really, it's very interesting and very amazing. Then I also watched a couple of videos. Your videos. You were interviewed by various other different podcasts. So because I'm very much committed and I'm very much dedicated. So when I take up a task, I work very hard. I research, I work hard, then I add some value. That's what I do. It is I'm very dedicated guest. Now you are a host. Now I'm the guest in this situation. So I enjoyed your conversation, and I enjoyed your videos from various outlets. Then again, I read your article on what they call Forbes. So many things you are doing. I don't know how you are able to manage your time. Really, it's hats off to you.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored that you did that. I really appreciate it. So I appreciate it. I am extremely passionate about these topics, as are
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah. Passion. Passion is key. Yeah. Correct. I'm
Yeah,
passionate. Yeah, I'm
very, very
passionate about
passionate.
learning. Yeah.
Very passionate, not just about learning, but also about making the world a better place.
Definitely. Definitely. See, we are living in this beautiful planet for a limited time span. So we have to do our best and impact.
Yeah,
Right.
that's how I always look at it. We have between now and a finite amount of time, and what we make of that time, it really matters.
See,
So,
we share lots of stories. If some of the stories resonates, then that serves our purpose, right? If some stories are spread, they reach out to as many people, they will share with others that impact world, right? So we keep walking in that direction, and we must keep adding value regularly, and definitely people will come and they get results, and we impact, right?
I hope
That's
so.
what I believe.
Yes, I believe so too. Thank you so much. It has been such an honor to have you.
uh,
I
it's very great and a pleasure talking to you. I With gratitude, my friend. You are my friend.
absolutely
Have a
thank you.
great day.